Well, I usually go in and pitch a few ideas to begin with when it comes to writing these video games, and then the various brand people and Cartoon Network people and the show people kind of have their say on, yeah, we want to do that, that's too close to something else we're doing.
It's boring for most people to think about that I sit in front of a computer and I am able to type out things that just write the commands for what the game is going to do. The code is kind of what makes the art do something in the game. Otherwise, it's just a movie or it's just a picture. So in this case, if you want to be interactive, that's kind of how the code does it, is brings the pieces together.
I'm responsible for working with all the artists and kind of supervising the overall feel of the visual elements in the game.
The sound engineer is in charge of all the sounds for the video game, and I'm kind of overseeing, aside from sound design, which is creating the sound effects and placing them within the game, I also oversee the voiceover, how they're going to be placed, and the music, and overall launch for everything within the game.
I am the project manager for the video game. I oversee all departments, and I'm also the liaison between our studio and our publisher and licensor. So I'm kind of the point man to get everybody communicating, and also, of course, to make sure we're staying on schedule.
In the many departments, usually art consists of level artists, not so much design, but the creation of what you see in the game. The worlds, the environments, the trees, the things that you're going to interact with in the game.
Yeah, the video games are like additional alternate adventures, as are the books, as are the comic books. It's not, if it's not in the TV show, it's not really canon, but we do try to keep it as close to things that would be possible within the TV show.
Bringing a 2D character to life in the 3D poses many challenges. On a 2D show, you have a lot of allowances that you can do, like show characters only on certain angles that are ideal for the character. In 3D, we don't have that luxury. We have to show the character, at all angles because the player is in control.
If you think about what's in the show versus what's in the video game, there's a lot more animation in the video game than there is in the show. So we're very thankful for any references that we can get for how these characters move and how they fight. But the majority of it is stuff that we have to come up on our own.
Because Ultimate Alien, the show, is new, we were kind of co-developing the game at the same time they were developing the show. So we ran into instances where some of the new alien forms, we didn't know exactly what they did.
Well, there's so many new characters in this new game, and as exciting as that is, there were some issues. One issue we ran into at the beginning of development is these characters weren't fully fleshed out yet.
In our example, there's Amphibian, who's in the game. He went through several color designs and patterns, even and textures that we had to redo because the studio was trying to find his, the right look for him for the show.
A particularly challenging aspect of developing sound for this video game and the previous Ben 10 as well is just the amount of aliens and all the sounds that accompany those particular aliens. Aside from being varied and unique, just the sheer amount of them is a challenge.
Environments as well in the game, we're taking the player all around the world. So they're going to be going to pretty much every continent. They're going to be going to China, Tokyo, South America, the US, even places in Europe. So to be able to create all these different environments was a challenge as well.
Well, one of the levels that I thought was exciting to work on and bring to life was the China level. It posed a lot of challenges, but at the same time, it gave us a lot of creative freedom to be able to create a lot of mystique and secrecy and things like that.
In developing the sounds for Ben 10, we're constantly playing the game through the various iterations, various builds to see where it's at and to see what new things have come up that we need to play sound effects for.
Coming from the TV show as a writer, Cartoon Network's put a lot of faith in me to stay true to the brand and to really, stay true to the character voices and keep the games, if not entirely 100% in continuity with the show, as close as we can possibly be for the fans to accept it and enjoy it.
Yeah, I always love it when we can get the writer in the room. I know we didn't have the writer today, but I know Charlotte, and I knew she was writing the game, and I told her to write some really fun stuff for us, and she did. And she brought in like every character into this game that like has almost ever existed on the show.
Yeah, we just got done recording all the voices, and I barely made it, but here I am speaking to you right now.
How does one describe D. Bradley Baker? He's a monster, but only, you know, on screen, only his voice.
I think I do 17 super aliens in this game, which that's got to be a record for me. Well, some of the characters are certainly much easier. Those tend to be the ones they don't use as much. the ones that are more vocally punishing. All those are the ones they always love to bring back. The soar in Humongosaur is my voice. Good soar after I'm doing Humongosaur.
You know, when you look at the whole development of the game, is kind of a small part of the game. Important. I'm not gonna, you know, sell us short, but it's a small part of the game. There are a lot of people here watching today. You've got producers and people who are going to be, you know, directing the different elements of the video game, designers, and you know, including the voice director and engineers to make sure all the stuff gets laid down as it needs to. An important part, but when you look at the whole, you know, development of the game, a very short part, actually.
We have 17 characters in this game that we've been developing for, and it's a lot of animations that we have to do, a lot of different attacks. We added the specials in here, so you have like 4 extra ways that are not just additional things that you can do, but they're like super powerful moves that make the player realize that, hey, you know, I'm a superhero here.
Well, so what's big in this game are the ultimate forms. That's definitely a brand new feature, not only for the game, but for the show. So for fans, if they want to experience, you know, what it feels like to run around as Ultimate Humongosaur or play as Ultimate Spider Monkey, this is the game they're going to want to do that with. This is the only game they can do that with.
You've played the regular character in combat, you know how that feels, but now you're Ultimate. So, you know, we give you a lot more guys that you're going to have to fight against, and your abilities are just over the top.
The fighting system definitely supports with our quick alien switch feature. You can start a fight with Swamp Fire, and as I hop to another one, I can switch to Big Chill, defeat him, you know, backflip into another one while switching into Spider Monkey, you know, and conquering this guy, and then finishing off with Humongosaur mid jump, and to kind of pulverize him into the ground.
We've got better animations, we've got more characters, we've got more effects, we've got more abilities, the environments are more robust.
Yeah, so many characters, you know, brand new original story that was written. There's just a lot that went into this to put it all together.
I think what sets this game apart isn't any one thing. I think looking at it, I think we've improved on almost every aspect of the game.
If I had known as a child that I was going to grow up and this was going to be my real grown-up job and this is going to be my life, I'd have been a heck of a lot more relaxed as a kid. I mean, I get to write cartoons and video games. How cool is that?